All right, Shalom. This is your brother Shamar from the Phoenix camp. And with that being said, I want to give our honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the brothers that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. Now jump right into the lesson. This is Matthew 18:3. And said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. So that's what it says. It said, let you be converted. Let's get that word converted, man. It says to turn around, to turn oneself, to be to the back to one who no longer cares for another, to turn oneself from one's course of conduct, to change your mind. So you gotta turn around from the world mentality, and you gotta be taught all over again as a little child. So that means that you gotta let it go. Your your assumptions that you had about God and Jesus Christ, man. You gotta let go of those assumptions. Because what we were taught as children are false. And you come into this truth, you realize that everything that you've been taught about the Bible by your parents, or by whatever church you attended, or whatever your previous beliefs were, they're contrary to the Bible, man. So basically, you gotta start all over. You gotta learn everything all over, and that includes being a man. So you gotta grow all over again. And for some people, they're too prideful to do that. For some men, they invested so much time and energy in a false doctrine that when the truth comes and rattles that doctrine and debunks that doctrine, they have a hard time, you know, dealing with that because they invested so much time, energy, and effort into that belief. So basically, you gotta let things go, man. You gotta let go what your conceived notion of a man was, of what your conceived notion of a woman's role is. You gotta let all those things go. You gotta be as a little child. You gotta be taught all over again. Now you gotta come in as a little child, but that doesn't mean you remain a child. Because once you come in as a child, meaning that you come in a humble and meek spirit, eager to learn, not trying to show everybody what you know, but trying to learn, you have to grow from that. You gotta mature. Because the scriptures speak about maturing, you know. I'm gonna keep it back. I'm gonna back. It says Matthew 18:3. It says, and verily I say unto you, except you be converted and become as little children, you should not enter the kingdom of heaven. You gotta do away with your preconceived notions of what you thought God was or is, and and basically how the world operates. Because when you find out how the world really operates and why things are the way they are, if you don't let go of your previous beliefs, it's not going to line up, man. It says verse 4 and explains how you become a little child. So whosoever therefore shall humble himself as a child, so that's what it means. It means being humble. The same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. So let's get a Salak. I think it's Mark 6 and 13. If I'm not mistaken. This is Mark 6. Let's see what this says. Nope, that ain't it. Mark 10:13. Once again, the scripture talking about the mentality of a child, or the humbleness of a child. They brought children to him. They brought young children to him that he should touch them, and the disciples rebuked those that brought them. Slack and disciples rebuked those that brought them. But when Yahushua saw it, he was much displeased and said, suffer the little children to come unto me, and forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of the Most High. Verily I say unto you, whosoever shall not receive the kingdom of God as a little child shall not enter therein. And that's the same scripture that's spoken of in Matthew 18:34. So you start as a humble and meek person, eager to learn. You gotta learn everything all over again. You gotta learn right and wrong. You gotta learn definitions of roles. You gotta know what a man's supposed to do. You gotta know what a woman's role is, and it's gonna go contrary to everything that you ever thought. Even the way the world operates, is gonna go contrary to everything you thought, man. So let's go with Ephesians 4 and 14. This is This is Ephesians 4 and 14. It says, let's see. So this is one of the marks of maturity. It says that we henceforth be no more children. So if you're no more a child, then what are you? You are in a more mature state. So from receiving of this truth, you gotta mature. You gotta mature. Tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. Because when you in that state of not knowing, you got so many doctrines and beliefs and conspiracies or whatever you want to call it. If you pay attention to all that, it can lead you astray. You're tossed to and fro because then again you don't know what to believe. That's why you got a bugged out Jake out there. They believe it all. They believe in everything. They believe a little bit of this and a little bit of that, man. They'll say, "Oh, I believe the Israelites are black, but we could also be aliens." Whatever bugged out doctrine they got. But also there's some truth to the Egyptian philosophy also. Just they just mix a whole bunch of bullshit together to form their own doctrine, man. To form their own belief system. You see a lot of that happening, man. You see a lot of that happening. And most of it is women. Most of it is women that go for them wayward doctrines. Because the number one problem that they got is that if you really look at the truth, the scriptures, it doesn't put women in a very high position. It tells the woman that she needs to be subservient to the man, that she's not allowed to speak. She should keep silent. And they don't like that, man. And the reason that they don't like that, because these women are prideful and they want things their way. They don't want to be subjective to their man. They don't want to be subjected to the Most High. That's why they seek out these doctrines that allow them to live a life according to their desire, that allow them to do the things that they would like to do and still keep a pious image about them. That's what that really is. They still want to continue to chase the world, but they want to have a pious image about them. They want people to think that they know stuff, that they know things. That they have a type of intelligence according to this word. And that's why they do that shit, man. I said that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about every wind of doctrine. And that's also going for men too. They do the same thing. They want to look so deep. They want to look like they got some kind of hidden secret knowledge. It says every wind of doctrine, that we henceforth be no more children. Why? Because they're still in that childlike state. They have not matured. Tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness whereby they lie in wait to deceive. Because all those other doctrines, they're deception, man. You can listen to the videos, and if you're in the truth and you're grounded, you'll be able to pick the meat from the bones. But if you're not, you're going to be tossed to and fro because you don't have that maturity yet. You don't have that discernment, and that's what maturity in the truth is. That's one of the marks of maturing and growing in this truth, is you have the discernment. Let's get Hebrews 5 and 12. So you come in as a child, meek, humble, learning everything all over, but you got to grow. You gotta grow into a grown man. And part of the marks is having discernment. It says Hebrews 5 and 12, for when the time you ought to be teachers, you have need that one teach you again. So you got to be taught again, man. Which be the first principles of the oracles of Yahweh. That's talking about the word. And are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. So you got to get that milk first. For everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word righteous, for he is a babe. But strong meat belongs to them that are of full age, the true understandings, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. So that's a mark of maturity in this truth. You're able to discern good and evil. You're able to discern the meat from the bones, and dealing with these other camps and dealing with these other philosophies. They're able to discern. You're able to tell right off the bat that is contrary to the truth. That's why brothers get on these bug outs so quickly, because we have that discernment. We don't have that go along to get along mentality. We have that discernment. Because we have that strong meat, and this is a strong meat, man. This is a strong meat. If you have a person inquiring about the truth and you try to tell them the whole thing all at once, most likely he won't be able to handle that, man. You tell him, hey, the white man, the so-called Edomites, the white man's the devil. America going to be destroyed by nuclear fire. There is no free will. The Most High is coming to save the elect. He hates all the other nations. Chariots, spiritual powers. If you try to tell somebody all at once, man, they liable to bug out, because it's just too much information for them to what's the word I'm trying to say? To them to process, man. Why? Because they don't have that discernment. That's why when you learn this truth, you will learn about it bits and pieces when you first come in. First thing you learn is that you're an Israelite, and for some people that's even hard for them to accept. Jake don't want to accept that he's an Israelite. They don't want to accept the fact that Esau and Edom ain't going to be in the kingdom with them. So you gotta have that's a strong meat, man. Those are hard doctrines that you have to mature into. In the majority of the world, they can't do that. They can't accept that hard doctrine. They can't accept that strong meat. So let's get a few more scriptures. This is 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. And it says, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, and I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. So what does that mean? That means that you put away that simple-minded mentality, and you got to think on a whole different level. Once you start maturing in this truth, you put away childish things. So when I was a child, I spake as a child. You spoke in simple terms. I understood as a child. You understood a word in a simple basis. You didn't know about the dark forces behind, everything, behind your condition. You didn't know that these elites have an agenda that are contrary to you. You don't understand that. You just think we're all human beings. That was the mentality. But when I became a man, how someone become a man? It's truth. By having maturing to that, having that spiritual discernment, understanding those things, understanding those hard sayings, those mysteries. I put away childish things. So that's what it is, man. That's part of maturity in this truth. Let's get Ecclesiastes 17 and 10. There's Ecclesiastes 17 and 10. Which one is it? So that's Ecclesiastes 11 and 10. So therefore remove sorrow from thy heart, and put away evil from thy flesh. For childhood and youth are vanity. So remove sorrow from thy heart, man. To walk around feeling sorry yourself and having a woe is me attitude. That's what a child does when you really think about it. When the child don't get his way, or he's not pleased, he's not satisfied to a certain degree, he just goes around moping around feeling sorry for himself because there's nothing to pacify him. And put away evil from thy flesh. Because a child, he just wants to do whatever fun, whatever feels good. For childhood and youth are vanity. So that mentality that you had as an immature person is vanity. And if you think about that mentality, that immature mentality, is a mentality of the majority of Jakes out here, seeking pleasure. And if they don't got no pleasure, they stay all depressed and sorrowful, and they turn to drugs, alcohol, whatever. That's an immature mentality. So therefore, remove sorrow from thy heart. So you can't be going around here, that woes me spirit, that's a demon, man. And put away evil from thy flesh. And all that do as thou wilt shit, what feels good, don't do it. Hey, that's fucking demonic, man. Because part of the marks of maturity is self-control or temperance, what the Bible calls temperance. Part of the marks of a grown man is that he has temperance. He lives by rules. Those rules being the law, statutes, and commandments. A child doesn't want to live by rules. A child must be taught rules. And when he breaks the rules, he's disciplined by the breaking of those rules. It says, for childhood and youth are vanity, man. So the immature state of mind that Jake has is vanity. It's worthless, and that's basically what vanity means. Get that word vanity. It says emptiness or vanity, figuratively something transitory and unsatisfactory. That's what it is. It's empty. It has no value. It has no worth. That mentality has no value. It has no worth. It doesn't promote growth. In the scriptures that we brought out, they talk about growth. They talk about going from a humble child, learning everything over again, to maturing to a man that can handle hard sayings and hard things. And I'm gonna close it out with I got too much scriptures. Isaiah 28, weaning from the milk, I think it is, yeah. Because that speaks of maturing. Isaiah 28:9. So whom shall he teach knowledge? And knowledge is the understanding of the scriptures. Whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Knowledge is knowing, understanding is grasping the intent of it. Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. A mature mentality. You learn it as a humble child, but you have to mature and grow in it. For precept must be upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. That's how you understand the Bible, by putting precepts together. Every verse interprets itself through another precept. What these bug outs call Hebrew hopscotch. Go to verse 10. But the word of the Lord was to them precept on precept, precept on precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. They may go and fall backward, be broken, snared, and taken. So it must be precept on precept, man. Because if you don't understand that concept, then that's a stumbling block to you. And they say, oh, you guys take things out of context. No, that's so. We break them down in context by the use of other scriptures. So basically what it comes down to, we don't speak our own mind, man. We speak the mind of Yahweh Shem Yahushai according to the scriptures. And you got to have a mature spirit to do that. You got to be weaned from the milk. That means, once you're taught the basics, then you can teach. Once you mature to a level of understanding where you understand these dark things, these deep mysteries, but that's what they are. All that great millstone teaches, they're mysteries, man, because they haven't never been taught before. The concept of the Bible, the way we teach it, which is 100% truth, has never been taught before, man. On such a massive scale, on such a massive platform. Why is that? Because that's the maturing of the children of the Most High, the sons of the Most High. We have to be matured. That's why we put away the childish things. That's why we put away the folly. That's why we put away the vanity. That's why you grow into this truth. The scripture's talking about being a man. A man, is marked by diligence. He's marked by temperance. And you got to have these things to walk this path, man. Plain and simple. So I'm going to get 1 Corinthians 14 and 20. I'm going to close it out on that. 1 Corinthians 14 and 20. And it says, brethren, be not children of understanding. Which part say, hey, wait a minute, that goes against what Yahweh said to come as little children. Yeah, you come as little children. But you got to mature from there. He said, brethren, be not children of understanding. Don't be simple. and concerning this truth. Howbeit in malice be ye children. So you gotta be ignorant. Malice, ill will, desire, wickedness, the pride, wickedness that is not ashamed to break laws, evil, trouble. It says, but in malice be children, or be simple in that, like not really knowing, not really being concerned or knowing about that, but understanding, be men, be mature in their understanding, be mature in righteousness, be mature in self-control and temperance. But in malice and those immature childish things, be simple about it. And that's what it is, man. So the scriptures talk about maturity, and you can know all these scriptures, man, and you can still have a childish mentality, because you can know scriptures, but you gotta live them also. You gotta institute them in your daily life. You can read, be slow to anger, whatever example. But you probably have a bad temper, so you read it, but you're not doing it. So that's not maturity right there, man. But you know what? I don't want to ramble on. The point has been made. You come with a child and you grow in this thing, and you grasp this thing, mature this thing as a man. When you come to a level of understanding where you got to do things according to a rule, which are the law, statutes, commandments. So just I'm talking to myself first and foremost. Be mature in all things, man. Have honor in all things. Have integrity in all things. Have self-control in all things. With that being said, it's a real quick lesson. Most I will and hope is edifying. But I'm gonna give all honor, glory, and praise. Yahweh Shem Yoshai. Call halal Yahweh Shem Yoshai. Let's keep on pushing. Shalom.